C.S. Lewis, the British scholar and novelist, puts it thus: literature adds to reality. It does not simply describe it. It enriches the necessary competencies and the daily life requires and provides. And in this respect, it irrigates the desert that our lives have already become. By sponsoring the Nigerian Prize for Literature, therefore, it is our fervent hope that a lot more Nigerians will take to reading a lot more, that they may find the inner strength and the wisdom to cope with life in these tough times. That alone, if nothing else, justifies our being here today to celebrate three worthy writers: Chinyere Obi Obasi and Ayodele Olofintuade, the authors of The Great Fall and Eno's Story, respectively. They made it from a long list of 126 writers to the final shortlist of 3. And of course, to Adeleke Adeyemi, the winner of the 2011 edition. The winner of the 2011 edition of the Nigeria Prize for Literature, who writes under the pen name of May Nasara. Adeleke Adeyemi's winning entry is titled The Missing Clock. In writing the Nigerian Prize for Literature, winning the Nigerian Prize for Literature, Adeleke joins the fast-growing exclusive list of Nigerian laureates. 7 writers thus far who have earlier won the Literature Prize: late Ezenwa Ohaito and Gabriel Okara in 2005, Ahmed Yerima in 2006, Akachi Adimura Ezeigo and Mabel Shedo in 2007, Cain Agari in 2008, and the late Esiaba Irobi in 2010. Winning the prize could not have been easy. Adeleke had to contend with 125 other writers who submitted entries for the competition. In the word of the panel of judges, May Nasara is a gifted storyteller. The judges described his award-winning book, The Missing Clock, as a lovable and credible novel that meets the basic requirements of art for excellence in children's literature, and have praised the book for celebrating ingenuity, hard work, creativity, and self-reliance, qualities that the Nigerian child needs to grow into a well-rounded adult, ready to contribute meaningfully to the Nigerian project.
The Literature Prize has been run on a 4-yearly cycle, in which within each cycle, a different genre of literature is focused upon in the chronological order of fiction, poetry, drama, and children's literature. Last year, 2011, another cycle closed with the competition for children's literature. A panel of jury was set up, chaired by Professor Akachi Ezeigo of the University of Lagos. And other members of the jury, as you've just been told, were Professor David Carr, Professor Yakubu Nasidi, Professor Leon Oyegoke, and Professor Ine Obom Kuko. The jury received over 100 entries, most of which, sad to say, were of poor quality. The members of the jury were able to agree unanimously a short list of 3 outstanding entries as follows in order of excellence. The Missing Clock by Ms. Nasara, Enos Clock by Adele Olofin Frade, The Great Fall by Chinyere Obiobasi. We are here this morning to make the award to my Nasara. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce the winner of the 2011 Literature Prize, Mai Nasara, to give you this I'd like to invite the MD, Madame Samotoa, to make the presentation to him.
Now, a brief remark by Minasara.
I would like to take my cue from the MD, standing on previous protocols. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. A certain 18th century English poet rose up one day and penned the following words: "Hope springs eternal in the human breast." I'm not sure what Alexander Pope was thinking about that particular day, but I know he was right about the human heart and its penchant for hope. It was sheer hope that drove me to enter my first published work for the Nigeria Prize for Literature. If I learned nothing else from this experience, I have learned that hope drives us towards success even beyond our imagination. I dared hope to make the shortlist. I won the prize. Today, I dare to hope again. This time, it is my hope that by the end of this event and long after, the one thing that will mostly be on our minds and lips will be libraries. Yes, libraries. But before I take off about libraries, I would like to thank the panel of judges for finding the missing clock worthy of honor. Similarly, I salute Nigeria LNG Limited for their no-holds-barred sponsorship of the Nigeria Prize for Literature, along with its twin, the Nigeria Prize for Science. Ladies and gentlemen, my life has been much enriched by literature in many respects. From my father, who is here with us in the audience today, and others like Benjamin Franklin, whom I encountered in art and science, I learned that good parents, teachers, and role models take special pride in knowledge and do everything to contribute to the education of the young. Now back to libraries. In a civilized society, the public library is the visible face of government. As John N. Berry III so rightly observed, the public library is an excellent model of government at its best. A locally controlled public good, it serves every individual freely, in as much or as little debt as he or she wants. Books do change people. Wonder of wonders, they have been known to change society at large. We will never grow a civilized or responsible citizenry without the book. It is not a luxury, it is a lifeline. There will never be justification to banish the book, for only with it can we frustrate the fanatic with his faithful folly. Community libraries lie at the bedrock of American greatness, a reality I have seen in the public library in the county where I have lived for some time now. I have roamed its length and breadth and depth. Yes, it has a basement floor brimming with children's books for various grades. My wife would later summarize my first trip there to colleagues at work, who probably all their lives have taken the library for granted. In these words, my husband was just like a boy in a candy store. It was at this library that I finally got hold of Chinua Achebe's How the Leopard Got Its Claws, a boon of a book for children and adults alike that perfectly illustrates the 200-year-old truism by French nobleman Joseph de Maistre. Every country has the government it deserves. This line was written on August 15, 1811. It is often quoted anonymously as people get the leadership they deserve. I agree there's a decline in reading culture, but can we truly say the books are available for our kids even if they wanted to read? Why can't we have modern libraries in our schools or public areas? I make bold to say to you today that there is no other way to go forward. Our children, especially girls, must gain unfettered access to books and the stories in them, because the person's thinking skills, the conceptualization of ideas and their expressions are heavily dependent on what they have read and what they read and learn. Richard Crabb, former chairman of African Publishers Network, said, "If education is the road out of poverty, books are the wheels needed for the journey." My wife may not agree that sartorially I'm well suited for today's occasion, but if nothing, my choice apparel is a visual aid for the point of the day. The garment, as many of you know, is a kaftan, but less known is the icing on the cake. Well, in a manner of speaking, I'm talking about my cap. Curiously, the cap is called Mohadubanki. That's Hausa for let's meet at the bank. The origin of such a designation for a mere cap, I'm afraid you shall have to find out for yourself in a library. While you should not bank on this cap or any, for that matter, to get money from the bank, I'm capitalizing on it to help you get the picture. I have directions for you. Meet me at the library, Mohado Library. But don't show up without children. On such children alone who have unfettered access to books, we must bank to build the Nigeria of our dreams. Like a fitting cap, I hope this is, that will be our crowning achievement. And our generation, or well, the one before, and maybe this as well, getting into that rut, would not have been wasted. If truly we want a better Nigeria, it can happen even in our lifetimes. But we must start now. At the library. I'll be waiting. See you. Thank you.
Is that correct? Is that correct? What a pity. I thought you would give me the check. Ladies and gentlemen, what a great pleasure to be here. And for me in particular, to see and to honor somebody who succeeded in doing what I've never succeeded in doing. But my publisher, late Rex Collins, used to tell me, you know, Colin, what we need to do is write a children's book. Everybody wants children's book. You will sell masses and masses and you can retire comfortably. I have to tell you that I tried to write a children's book. I never succeeded. I was toiling. I had a feeling I had failed to enter into the child's part. So it's really wonderful, and I really congratulate you. Who shall I give it to? This symbolic one. Shall I give it to Madam Pierre? Congratulations. Oh. Should it up several times. Oh, you got it now. Okay.
So what really inspired you that make you to go into literature writing? I think to build literature, writing it. What really inspired you?
Well, what made me go into it is very, very straightforward. I grew up in a cultural atmosphere, storytelling atmosphere, and I was a voracious reader. I read, you heard the winner lamenting the shortage of libraries, or the paucity of libraries in Nigeria, and I absolutely feel like it. But
anything which is around me, catalogs, newspapers, I just love reading from childhood. Anything at all. And so I suppose after a while, deceptively, I can't remember how I feel about that, I think I began to think, well, why don't I start writing something? Also, I was never content when I was telling stories. We used to have storytelling groups. I was never content to tell the story exactly as I had received it. So my siblings would say, no, you didn't go that way. No, what happened? I said, no, this is my, this is the way I was telling it. So it was one of those things. It just grew on me, and inspiration, everything. Natural phenomena, events around me, seeing a particularly interesting character, unusual, and then imagining, why is that person unusual? Why is that person talking to himself or herself? Why is, to put it in a familiar expression, why is that chicken crossing the road? And that's what happened. That's how you begin to fantasize.
Did you ever believe that you can make it to this point?
Oh, let me tell you, by the way, and with all respect to today's prize winners and so on, I've never believed in prizes. Now, that will sound very strange to you, but I believe that, especially in the humanities, in the creative world, distinguishing between one work and another is really not as easy as many people think. And in fact, you should really give a round of applause to the judges. They have a very difficult task, you know.
When you're submitting the entry, do you ever think that it will eventually be the #1 from this very competition?
Well, I hope for the best. Like I said in my speech, hope springs eternal in the human heart. You know, you're hopeful. You can't live without hope. Although you can't live on it, but you can't live without hope. So each day as it comes, you want to dig in, do your best, and really do your best. I grew up in the Bible in 3 languages: English, Hausa, and Yoruba. There's a part of it in Proverbs that says, the horse is made ready for battle, but victory is of the Lord. So you get your horse ready for battle, but also there's another side to the coin. Victories of the Lord. You trust in providence, what has been deposited inside of you. It's only an expression. It's God who walks in for us to work out. But more often than not, maybe we're lazy and all of that. But, well, like I said, it's a moment to live for, and truly grateful.
Well, you laid so much emphasis when you are talking about the need for public libraries. Are you saying we don't have any that can really serve as as an avenue for people to conduct a research work?
We have no functional libraries. I was going to hold up my card. This is my card of the county library I referenced in my speech in the United States. It's Andrew Carnegie built a network of libraries in the United States that has been built upon, of course. So we're calling on industrialists, entrepreneurs. I mentioned one. There are quite a few. It's smattering out there. Mo Ibrahim, the Sudanese, one of the fathers of GSM telephony. The Mo Ibrahim Prize for African Leadership, he hopes they give their best and hand over. But they don't get a winner every year because really we think you can't build from the top. It's from the ground up. That the prize is $5 million every year. You read the speech, it's in the brochure. $5 million every year. We'll build 1,000 libraries, and that will go a long way. We have to start with children. I referenced Gandhi as well. It has to start with children. Children really are a nice way to start people. You can't start any other way than that. So we're saying that, look, there are no libraries. There are no libraries here. I grew up with one in my school in Government College, Katsina. There was one there, that I remember, that I recall really well. But looking around, there's one where I used to live in Bariga. But it's just politics that goes on around there all the time. You see the public library. It's even in schools, you see a room with beautiful chairs, but it's empty, and it's pompously labeled library. It's a joke. It's a sick joke. We really can't develop a civilized citizenry without access to the book, and which you have to go to the library to get, and they have to be everywhere. Thank you very much.